Hi everyone, welcome back to Catherine's Plates. I have my crock pot out because I want to show you how to make a delicious pepper steak in the crock pot. It is so delicious. I use lots of multicolored bell peppers for this because we want to make it look fantastic because we eat with our eyes, right? I'm going to pair this with some rice. Look, I already have it made for you. So I'm going to go over all the steps you need to know how to make your own pepper steak at home. I'm using cube steaks for this recipe today. I've got 4 of them here. Now you could either use round steak or you can use chuck roast, any kind of meat like that. And what I'm going to do is take these and I want to cut these into 1/4 inch strips. I want these easy for people to eat. Now I like the cube steaks because they're already been pounded out, tenderized. It'll be really tender, this. Now you can have how much meat you put in there, but I would definitely leave the sauce same amount. So don't half the sauce if you want to have this meat recipe right here. I think I'm working with around 2 pounds of meat. This will definitely make some good leftovers also. Okay, we're gonna salt these strips. And I'm going to pepper. Now you have 2 choices here. You could go ahead and just place this in your crock pot, or you can brown these. I like to sear in, flavor, give it a nice color, give it some crispness to any kind of meat that I put into my crock pot. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to take this over to my skillet and we're going to lightly brown these. I've got a large skillet over medium-high heat. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of some cooking oil, and my favorite is avocado oil. We're going to let this get nice and hot so that we can get a nice sear on the meat as we put it in. Now I am going to be doing this in batches, so maybe 2 batches or 3 batches. Once each batch gets cooked, I'll just go ahead and place it into the crock pot. Alright, the oil's nice and hot. I'm starting to place my strips into the pan. You want to make sure that you layer these, 1 layer. That way they can brown evenly. We're just going to cook for a few minutes until the meat is nice and browned on one side. And then we're going to flip it over. Going to add our peppers and onions to this. Now I have a red onion, I have a yellow onion, a green bell pepper, and then I have some colored bell peppers, yellow, red, and orange. I'm going to cut these into strips. You want them nice sized strips. They're going to cook in the crock pot for quite a while, so you want to make sure that they don't disintegrate in there. You want to put about 3 or 4 whole peppers in there. And you kind of want to do the same with the onion. Just taking off the ends, the outer layer of the paper. I'm just going to cut it in half. And then I'm just going to cut on the lines. And I'm gonna do a red onion. Now, if you're not gonna do a red onion, then you can do 2 yellow onions or 2 white onions. I'm gonna place this all into the crock pot. In a small bowl, place half a cup of beef broth, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of minced ginger, half a teaspoon minced garlic. And blend this all together with a whisk. I'm gonna bring my peppers, onions, and my steak back over here. I'm gonna pour my sauce over the peppers, onions, and the steak. All right, we're gonna mix everything together so everything is well coated. All right, we're gonna place the lid on. We're gonna cook this for 8 hours on low or about 5 to 6 hours on high. We're gonna make the cornstarch slurry to help thicken things up. I've got 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, half a cup of water. I'm just gonna blend this together with a fork. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this into my crock pot mixture. Oh, that looks good in there. Look at that. See the purpose of adding those beautiful peppers in there? It adds a nice color. I'm going to add the cornstarch slurry. Give that a mix. Place the lid on and I'm going to cook this another 10 to 15 minutes until that sauce is nice and thickened. Make sure you place your lid back on. That looks so delicious in there. You know what I'm gonna do? Serve this over some rice. Okay, here is my bowl of pepper steak. Look at those peppers in there. You know, put in some beautiful peppers, and that's what it's gonna look like right there. The beef is nice and tender. It was cooked low and slow in the crock pot. I serve it up with some basmati rice. Now I always use half water, half chicken broth, butter, and a little bit of salt. Okay, I'm gonna give it a try. It's so delicious. The meat, and I use the cube steaks, it's very tender. Those peppers add a delicious flavor along with that wonderful sauce that I made. It's so delicious. Make your own right here. Okay, everyone, make sure you give me a thumbs up on this one. Comment down below what you think. And if you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below with that bell notification. That way you'll always know when shows like this one here are posted. I will see you on my next episode.